Hello, everyone. Okay, so 2 weeks ago, it was a record breaker in the number of you watching and interacting with us, and in the number of people reaching out to the Transform team, both during our live show and for a long time after. The comments were blowing up to our team as well. We were talking about the causes of mast cell activation syndrome and histamine intolerance. So tonight, we're doing part 2. We want to dig even deeper and talk about the causes that nobody knows about. Nobody.
I think that's kind of ironic, actually, Anne, because we were planning on doing this as a one show, but it's actually turning into 2, maybe even 3, depending on how many comments and questions we get in the comment section. I think people really have no idea, like, just how much allergy and histamine related issues anybody with any autoimmune disease really have. And last week, when we actually did 2 weeks ago, when we did, how many of you guys watched it? Anyway, when we did it 2 weeks ago, I just went over what I thought were the 3 core underlying causes. And the interesting thing is, none of those causes, I consider those keystone, like the foundational causes of mast cell activation disorder, but none of those causes any of your doctors even knew about. And I consider them literally the bottom of the pyramid that everything else builds on top of. So this week, we're actually going to go into part 2. And part 2 is the stealthy 4. I consider them stealthy because they weren't obvious to me. They were things I had to learn over the course of the last 27 years and the last 15 years as a functional medicine physician. So today, we're going to go over the stealthy 4 hidden causes even I didn't know about that I had to learn. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and dig right in.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being with us again. We're already getting comments from people that said, yes, I watched the last one and excited to see this one. So thank you for being with us yet again. And if this is your first time as well, thank you for catching part 2. And we'll be sure to link you to part 1 coming up in just a bit. But I'm Anne Emanuel, the co-host here for our show alongside Dr. Maggie.
Hello, and I am Maggie, UMD, functional and holistic medicine, and the creator of Transform Protocol and the Transform Autoimmune Program to help anyone turn around their autoimmune disease naturally. So, yes,
they're asking, let me see the link to the last one because we know what a hot topic this was.
Well, let's talk about it. So 2 weeks ago, we and who missed it? 2 weeks ago, we did a part 1 of what are the underlying root causes of mast cell activation and histamine intolerance and any allergy issue, period. And we went how to solve mast cell activation, histamine intolerance. We had planned for that to be a one show, but there were so many comments, and even people in our programs were going berserk over it for replay and was messaging us. There was so much that I taught in there. So if you are interested in seeing part 1, can you write that you want to see part 1 in chat and tell us a little bit more about why this topic is so near and dear to you? I would love to hear why this topic is so near to you. And here's the other thing. If you're an alumni or you're currently in one of our programs and you've been dealing with mast cell activation, histamine intolerance, any allergy related issue, share in chat what are some of the issues that you've struggled with that. What are some of your successes? What are some of your outcomes that you've had with that? Put it in the comment section. That'd be really awesome.
Because, okay, we're not going to get into the whole show that we did last week, but let's just give a little bit of a recap of what some of those foundational reasons that you mentioned are that can lead to mast cell activation syndrome and this histamine intolerance.
Yeah. And to recap last week, really, I mean, all mast cell activation disorder, just so you guys know, in the conventional medical world is limited to allergists and specialty medical centers like Johns Hopkins or Mayo Clinic, those kinds of specialty centers. And it's all around allergy. And it's all about IgE testing, just dealing with the allergist. Nobody's dealing with the 3 things that are in the comment section and right here in the recap. Last week, we talked about the huge digestion. I can tell you right now, the reason anybody has any allergy problem, especially severe histamine, food sensitivity, mast cell with anaphylactic, histamine intolerance, not being able to eat foods that are high in histamines, all of these is a digestion problem, number 1. They are a digestion problem that turns into allergy hell. And I talked about why and how 2 weeks ago. So if you want that training, type in chat, tell me about that. So digestion is huge. Number two, we also talked about decreasing allergen load specifically from food. Yet all of you guys are going to see allergists that deal with only IgE anaphylactic allergies, or you're sitting here dealing with shitty, crappy food sensitivity tests that don't work. So that's why we specifically last 2 weeks ago talked about food mapping. It's our unique process we use in this program to identify exactly what's causing your mast cell, histamine, or allergy symptoms without any doubt, ambiguity whatsoever, using your own blood work. And then finally, number three, last week, we talked about gut bacteria and how much just people with autoimmune disease or have a lot of these allergy issues really have disrupted gut bacteria in their gut. A lot of bad bacteria, not enough good bacteria, not enough what we call a bacterial diversity. So just as a reminder, I did share some products and some of the things that you could use last week. And I'm going to have a little screen share with it, just a reminder. And we'll share a link. On our website is Allergy Essentials. And it's just a reminder under Allergy Essentials. These are the probiotic essentials. In the allergy essentials, really importantly, you got to deal with digestion. So number one, Digested is a really great product. We'll share the link in chat for the allergy essentials, not the probiotic essentials. So in the allergy essentials, we talk about Digested, which is the cornerstone. You got to really have every single step of digestion.
Yeah.
We got to have in the allergy essentials. What you want to make sure is, I'm actually going to share my screen. Apologies, everybody.
Well, and while you're talking about it too, we are seeing a lot of comments come in, Dr. Maggie, of people saying what it is that they're dealing with.
Yeah.
Like, this person says POTS, NCS, MCAS, all of the things. MCAS to the point
syndrome.
Laxus, though.
Like this pattern of people having POTS, having like MCAS, fibromyalgia, these are all completely linked. It's actually one disorder, but we are sending these people to all these different specialists, which is really bothering me.
Just to prove your point too, because look at the next comment. Also POTS and MCAS. Yeah, you can't make it up. Yeah.
I mean, POTS, and a lot of POTS is even treated as an autoimmune disorder, which it is. Yeah. And the underlying cause of POTS, MCAS, fibromyalgia, number one, you got to make sure you have digestion addressed. Digested is our number one selling product in the store. And it's really important to take one with small meals, two with big meals to make sure you have a digestion addressed. 100% of people with any autoimmune disorder, any allergy disorder have severe digestion problems where steps are broken. We went over that last time. Okay. This makes me hot on the collar and mad, right? Allergist is another product that we have. Specifically, if you guys click the link to the Allergy Essentials and check out Allergist, what you will see is that particular product is a digestive enzyme that helps digest food that you have a known allergy to. So example, you just ate a bite of a sandwich, you realize it has some gluten in it. Well, take some Allergist right away and it'll digest it a lot faster. So these are preemptive things, is make sure you have proper digestion, but also something to digest allergenic proteins. And then once let's say you ate it and you didn't realize that you have a full-blown allergic reaction, Histaway is going to be king. So Histaway is going to be huge because Histaway is something that you take orally and it immediately starts to decrease histamines that are created from ingested allergens. So Histaway is really great for that. So I just want to remind you guys that there is so much that can be done about digestion and allergies that we discussed last week. I didn't even go into probiotics, but last week we talked about it. Just to remind you guys is that we do have a probiotic essentials, and making sure that you have the keystone species of probiotics in your gut is really important. So we talked about Proflora AI, Proflora GI, and we also talked about spore probiotics as well last week. So just to recap some last week, this is huge. And this Facebook user says, digestion is definitely one of my problems. Makes so much sense. And people in our program, I'd love our alumni to chime in to talk about just how huge digestion has been for them. Now, just to recap, Proflora AI and GI, people rotated in our program. Those are the two cornerstone ones, Proflora AI and GI. And then we also have a spore probiotic in the store as well. That's a third in the rotation for people who really have a lot of mast cell issues or a lot of infection in their gut to really increase the gut diversity in their gut. We even have a dog probiotic called Phytospore. People don't realize how many times they have infections and they're getting reinfected because their animals actually have it. So that's one of the major causes of recurrent H. pylori and sometimes SIBO as well. So phytospore is actually a probiotic for dogs that's really helpful to prevent us getting reinfected. So there's a whole huge world of probiotics that's huge. And we got to talk about it a little bit last week.
Somebody has a question about how is this different from antihistamines?
How is it different from antihistamines?
Yeah,
These are medications actually designed to decrease the creation of histamines. And so what we're talking about here is really, number one is when you're talking about digestion and you're talking about allergens, those are to decrease the creation of the allergy reaction in the first place by decreasing allergen load. So we talked about that last week. We also talked about histaways. Once you have a full-blown histamine reaction, the histamines are already all crazy out there. You can take antihistamines for that purpose, but the problem is, do they really work, and how fast do they work, and how well do they work for food-related type allergies? A lot of times those don't work really well at all, where histaway is specifically made for food-related severe anaphylactic type reactions, and it works fast. Typically with histaway, I tell people, if let's say you ate some gluten or you already feel some itching around your mouth, right away you could take 2 to 4 capsules, and then every hour you could add 2 to 4 capsules, maximum 20 capsules a day. And that can really just squash that histamine reaction, preventing you from going to the hospital, also preventing you from having to take prednisone, which is one of the main things that people get, high dose steroids in the emergency room. So in our program for people with MCAS, digestion is huge, allergist is huge, histaway is huge, and probiotics are huge.
A comment from an alumni here that's just basically laying out, thanking you for all of the help, because she went through this, also had POTS, again, MCAS with anaphylaxis, which of course can be scary, fibro, all of the things.
Yeah.
And digestion and infection were what, were targets for them to work on. And now I'm definitely the right track, having fewer reactions.
I can't tell you guys, I mean, even this week, and Anne, this is your first week or second week in our program.
Second week.
You're watching actually people get their data from food mapping, where it's like, they're shocked, like, because I had someone, we talked to Sherry this week, and she had worked with a functional medicine doctor and a functional nutritionist who told her to go on all these elimination diets, right? And it found out for her, what was it? Was it almond?
Almonds and pineapple.
Almonds and pineapple. Those are the two things that was triggering her severe rashes, hives, you name it, and anxiety that was related with her allergy-related autoimmune disorder.
She'd been having problems for 30 plus years.
30 plus years
to get help.
And you saw that. She said within a week of her removing those two foods, those allergy symptoms are gone.
Right.
It's just, I can't make this shit up. These are the real reactions and responses when you get really addressed digestion, when you get the right data of food mapping to remove the allergens, and you repopulate your gut with really high bacterial diversity. That's from last week's.
Yes. Yeah. So definitely check it out. And digestion was a big discussion of it, as was food sensitivities, as was gut bacteria. So that was all part 1. Do you want to talk about those stealthy reasons?
Yeah, these are stealthy reasons because they weren't obvious to me when all of this started happening to me, when I started training to become a functional medicine physician, back when I started to go, I'm a family practitioner who went into practice 27 years ago, and I got really sick. And it was about 16 years ago that I really started going to early menopause at the age of 36. I started having tons of these allergic symptoms, fibromyalgia, joint problems, chronic pain, neuropathy, and mixed connective tissue disorder. Like, this all came on, and functional medicine did not exist at that point, and I had to learn all these things the hard way. So it's been 16 years and probably over $1 million in training, and 16 years for me to learn these reasons. Last week, we shared the main reasons that I think are like the cornerstone of treating any mast cell activation disorder, yet none of those reasons are dealt with by your allergists or your specialty centers. People come to us after their allergists and going to Johns Hopkins or Mayo. They come to us after that to actually really address mast cell activation.
Which is sad. It's so sad that people have to suffer so much and bounce around from doctor to doctor and specialist to then not get help until they finally come to you. But luckily, they come to you.
Well, the problem is, I think, the compartmentalization of our conventional doctors. This goes in the realm of the allergists. Allergists have no training in digestion, in food mapping, or in bacteria. your gut microbiome, they have zero training in that, nor do they care. So therefore, you're dealing with someone who has very limited training and tools, and they're purely looking at this as an allergy disorder rather than looking at what's really the cause of it. Underlying digestion issue, underlying allergies and food sensitivities that their IgE test isn't showing you. So today we're going to go over reasons that shocked me, surprised me.
Yeah, no, I mean, and if you're watching and you're experiencing these issues, please let us know so that we can get you more information to help you out. So the first surprising and stealthy cause for mast cell activation and these histamine problems
is hormones.
Hormones.
I want to ask how many of you guys started having these allergy symptoms postpartum after you delivered your child, or certain times of the month it's a lot worse. Or you know what? You're a 45 to 55-year-old woman or man, and really around your big menopause, perimenopause changes is when these symptoms really got worse. Well, why? It's not because you're getting older. I mean, it's because those are the times of severe hormone changes. And I have thumped from the top of the hills about how one of the top pillars, we have 5 pillars of transform, underlying 5 causes of autoimmunity. Number 1, and there has to be hormone imbalances, because when these hormones really change, they really turn on autoimmune attack. But there's many mechanisms to why they also turn on allergy problems. Okay, so let's talk it through. We in our program actually saliva test your hormones, and just premiered a video how she's going to be, a video's coming up. She just unboxed her first her kit to actually test.
I just did the saliva testing as well, so
I can't wait. And the reason is because the information, I mean, we reviewed Lynn's hormones yesterday, and we were talking about Lynn's hormones, and her doctors kept doing blood hormones and telling her that her hormone levels were fine, and they were through the freaking roof. And I was trying to tell her that number 1 is that when we test hormones our way through saliva, we're testing for free active hormones. That's the part that really matters. So it can really differ from what they're testing in the blood. They're not testing for free active hormones. The other thing was, a lot of people have certain hormone patterns where certain hormones are really elevated. So example, estrogen dominance, it's a really common hormone pattern. How many of you know you have estrogen dominance who've been through the program? The other one is called polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS. Both of these disorders can cause hormones to go really high. And then on top of it, we could have someone like Lynn who's taking a ton of prescribed hormones. And that's called iatrogenic, doctor created, super crazy ass. She had hormone levels that were, some of them were 10 times normal of what a woman should be, right? So when you have elevated hormone levels that are this high, either naturally or iatrogenically caused by your doctor, these hormones have to be broken down by your liver. That's really important. And what happens is, it occupies the liver, and yet one of the main roles of the liver is to break down your histamines. It cannot break down your histamines if it's busy breaking down all your crappy hormones that are out of balance. So, point taken here, hormone imbalances causes serious histamine issues because it really interferes with the breakdown of histamines. So when people talk about, I take a medication to be antihistamine, do you know that your body naturally can break down histamine via your liver? Okay. Nope. And when your hormones are out of balance, they suck. It's occupying your liver. So you cannot break down histamines or even any toxins. You become a histamine waste cesspool.
Wow. Okay. So this is really fascinating. And I mean, it's proving your point that hormones have such a strong link, because a lot of people are saying that basically that these issues started right around these hormonally sensitive times. And this person even says can't have a cycle, and only 27 years old, not cycling because of POTS and mast cell. So
absolutely. And that reminds me of Dana, who went through our program. She had POTS and MCAS as well. And they went hand in hand. And literally for Dana, when her hormones improved, her mast cell activation improved like overnight. And same with her POTS. I mean, they all go hand in hand because the underlying causes are really similar. People don't realize that her POTS and her MCAS totally linked with her freaking hormones. Yet from that Facebook user, has anyone in that 27-year-old ever even addressed your hormones, lady?
Yeah, let us know. Whoever posted that comment, can't see your name because maybe you didn't
Has
agree to whatever.
anyone even addressed your freaking hormones? And is this the first time you're hearing that your hormones is actually imbalance is the underlying cause of why you have such high circulating levels of histamines? Booyah.
And even if somebody did try to address your hormones, unfortunately, in my experience, they will not know how. They
Yeah,
may try to do testing and they may try to order something for you, but will they be able to analyze it appropriately and to spot these very specific patterns
right.
that then you know how to fix? That's the game changer.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's the thing was, you have somebody here who's working, using Lynn as an example from yesterday's mastermind call. She's working with quote unquote a hormone expert, right? But yeah, had tons of physical symptoms. And the thing is, just because someone prescribes you hormones even doesn't make them a hormone expert because her hormones were more out of whack than even people who aren't on hormones. So that's the kind of thing that, I think even doctors who are prescribing hormones, testing hormones, don't understand jack shit about how to
Mhm.
balance your hormones. They
And
don't
she
even, when I talk about these patterns of estrogen dominance and PCOS, many of the people through our program, and I want you guys to comment who have been through a program, their doctors even missed those patterns. And I teach on it. Like I'm teaching people this. You've seen me teach about hidden PCOS. That's not the obvious. Also hidden estrogen dominance, right? So they don't even know what these terms mean. They don't even know what it looks like. They're not even doing the right test, and they don't even know how to find it outright. How would they even notice when it's hidden?
Right. And these people that have been dealing with it for years, like you asked, has anyone ever mentioned this to you before? Nope. First time I've heard hormones could be the cause.
Well, look at this one. I've had hives and histamine issues just after menopause. It is not by coincidence that this is way worse around the time when your hormones are changing.
Mhm.
No one considered my hormones. Can't wait to see my results next week in the program.
Ooh, so
Awesome.
you're in
This
the
is
program
in the
currently. Good.
program right now. And that's the thing was, it's such a game changer, and for me, like even last week, 2 weeks ago, we were going over Roxy's results and, couples who are people who are trying to get pregnant, trying to have healthy pregnancies, never knew what they learned in our program about their hormones. After cycles and cycles and tons spent working with reproductive endocrinologists, what we are showing them, teaching them to understand and learn and to master, they've never heard, even working with a reproductive endocrinologist for years.
And this person actually says that their OBGYN just defers back to Dr. Maggie at this point because
Oh, I got you. I got you.
yeah, because they admit it. You at least respect the doctors that say, I don't understand, find someone
Yeah.
who does, because
Well, and to go even deeper into hormones, okay? If you guys are enjoying what I'm saying about hormones, tell me what hormonal struggles you're dealing with. The more you tell me, the more I'm going to go on with it, okay? I love to talk with you. Estrogen dominance, mild form PCOS, fatty liver. That's the other thing. Liver is such a huge role in breaking down histamines, yet 90%, 100% of people, in my experience, who have autoimmune disease have what we call fatty liver. And underlying causes of fatty liver is blood sugar problems, which we will talk about later, but also like if you have a lot of gut infection with gut bacteria, that gut bacteria releases a lot of what we call LPS, lipopolysaccharides. That's the
science. Yeah.
I know. Those lipopolysaccharides, 85% flows directly into the portal vein, directly to your liver, causing toxic damage to your liver, which causes fatty liver. So with fatty liver happening in 90 to 100% of people with autoimmune disease already because of these reasons, then you throw increased histamine levels in these people, they can't break it down.
I mean, it makes sense. And now that you're explaining this, I'm sure perhaps maybe other doctors will hear about this too, because no
Mm.
one's talking about this. Absolutely nobody else.
Well, and from a supplement standpoint, I'm going to have someone share a link to our hormone essentials. If you're like, oh, I know my hormones suck. Well, yeah, make sure you check out our my hormone masterclass, which is our hormone program. If you want information about my hormone masterclass, type it in chat. But our main program, the Transform Fundamentals, really addresses all these things you need to do with testing your hormones, learning about these patterns, and also treatment of these disorders to fix the root cause. That being said, if you're looking for supplementation, what can I take as a supplement to help balance my hormones no matter what the pattern is, Love Her is going to be great.
Love
So
her.
from our hormone essentials line, I would say Love Her 2 a day would be really great. The other thing that's really awesome is Golden Balance. Take a scoop of that before bed. I have a video on how to make Golden Balance every single night. Your liver loving hormone balancing treat. So for me, if you have mast cell activation disorder, if you could do Golden Balance every night, it's like literally helping that liver time for your liver in the middle of the night be super stealthy, have your liver really work properly, not just break down hormones, but histamines, and also all these LPS coming from your bacterial infections.
Giving your liver some love as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's hormones. And then how many of you have insomnia, and all night long when you have insomnia, your liver doesn't work.
Oh, right. So I bet you need to fix. There's so many other things that go into then fixing insomnia as well, which some of what we're going to talk about probably could help with insomnia. I don't know if you want to skip maybe to blood sugar.
Yeah, let's go to blood sugar. All right. So blood sugar. So this is the other thing. A lot of people talk about their POTS being linked with mast cell activation disorder. POTS, for me, it's an autoimmune disease. It's not a heart disease. It's an autoimmune disease. And one of the underlying causes of it, obviously, is going to be digestion and food sensitivities. But the number one reason why people have POTS is blood sugar instability, high blood sugar up and down all the time. Someone just said, I have constant adrenaline surges since July, went to an endocrinologist. He asked me what I expected him to do. Obviously nothing.
And then this person had the exact same experience, said, right? Same.
Right. So what I have found is that blood sugar is the linchpin in many autoimmune diseases, and it is a linchpin in mast cell activation. So get this, and I talk about it, blood sugar mastery is a second pillar of Transform. And if you want all 5 pillars, write 5 pillars in the chat and check your message request later. We will get the training to you of all the 5 pillars. But the second pillar is going to be blood sugar. And what people don't realize is when blood sugar swings from high to low and low to high. So it's not just about cutting all your sugars. All your carbs. But if your blood sugar swings, we're talking about blood sugar mastery. Instead of the swings, you have blood sugar stable throughout the day. What I have found is that when these swings happen, high to low and low to high, it turns on the autoimmune attack against every organ. Okay. The other thing is that the blood sugar, whenever it's high, feeds the bacteria in your gut, and they make histamines. These bacteria also make histamines. When they eat, when they reproduce, they actually their LPS, candida, like gut fungal infections, when they increase in numbers, the candida has so many molecules in it that are allergenic, it will cause mast cell activation disorder to be 10 times worse. And so what happens is increasing the bacterial load, the bad bacteria and fungal load in your body raises the allergen load in your body, and they're fed by sugar. And so what happens is every time that low blood sugar swings, the autoimmune attack gets worse, but the high blood sugar will feed the bacteria, the population grows, and then that causes your body to be like, I don't like these guys. Let's make more and more histamines. So you're walking around with 10 times more histamines. And then somebody said, oh my God, I always have yeast infections. Because yes, your blood sugar swings are feeding them. And then the increased population of them raises histamine like tenfold.
Well, that makes sense. And then that creates the problem with the histamine. Bam. So are there supplements as well that can address that?
Yeah. I think you got to look, you have to master your blood sugar. That's why it's really crucial in our program. You work with a functional nutritionist. And I know this week, you probably went to your first nutritional mastermind call, Anne, as a participant in our program. Yes. I can't wait to see your vlog, to see your reaction to your first time of experiencing working with a functional nutritionist who's well-versed in autoimmune disease like Allie in our program.
So good. And yes,
I do with food, right?
About it. I know, because it is my first experience. Most people don't have that experience of connecting with somebody who functionally knows about nutrition and from an autoimmune standpoint. So yeah,
right. It's remember we talked to Sherry this week, and she was talking about how she worked with a functional nutritionist and a functional medicine doctor for a long period of time for a lot of money, and learned nothing that she had learned in this program. And in fact, was told to go intermittent fast.
Exactly. That's what I was just going to say. Gave her information that actually made her problems worse. That's
intermittent fasting. And I've gone about this before, for people with autoimmune disease, is a bad combination. And so just so you guys know, I have tons of trainings around blood sugar. I even talked about why myths around blood sugar. If you guys are interested in seeing the 5 major myths your doctors believe about blood sugar, put
Mhm.
that in the comment section and tell me what blood sugar struggles you're dealing with. And our team will get it to you in your message request on Facebook, the training to you. Type in chat if you want to the myths around blood sugar your doctors believe that's killing you and your autoimmunity. And so, yeah, so really importantly in the program, fix your food. And we
Mhm.
teach you how to do that. And we give you the support and the trained personnel to teach you how to do that so that anybody could do that. And in celebration of wins, how many people in the program said, I haven't been able to do this ever. And this is the first time in my life I've been able to be gluten free. Or this is the first time I've been able, someone just celebrated. You saw, I haven't been
Mhm.
able to sleep for 5 years. And and literally in the past week, I've been able to sleep.
Sleeping through the night finally. And then that has quite the snowball effect on so many other symptoms in your life, right? It's
Right.
like you said, other organs can't heal if you're not sleeping. Other organs can't function properly. So yeah, that was a special win. It still amazes me to hear all of the wins as the people currently in the program are experiencing them. Not to
Yeah.
mention, of course, the alumni.
Right.
It's pretty special. Um,
Well, supplementation, though, just to go back to it, we have blood sugar essentials. We're going to share the link in chat. And balancer is the mainstay. I think anybody, if you're struggling with a blood sugar issue and you know it, you could already hear it. Your symptoms are worse certain times of the day. You're waking up in the middle of the night. You're hot flushing in the middle of the night. It's a blood sugar problem, people. So what you want to do is take balancer 2 in the morning and then relax or 1 scoop at night. It's really great. And just so you know, like golden balance if is really great at night for blood sugar as well. And I have a video about how I make my foamy, warm golden balance at night to help balance my blood sugar, help my liver, help balance blood sugar and hormones every night. So that's golden balance right there.
That's
So
a
we have a
popular
good,
video, by the way. People always are trying to, where's the link to that video? We want to see how Dr. Maggie does it. I want to do it exactly the same way.
right. So blood sugar mastery is going to be really important. So FYI, and there's some real examples. I mean, people will tell you. I remember Taylor, who is a college student who's struggling with MCAS, and I think she had PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, as well. Once I connected the sugar, she started to realize, oh, no wonder I have more allergy reactions or like that mass headache. It's worse like late in the afternoon or first thing in the morning. It was blood sugar. And it's crazy how as soon as she started eating well, and then as soon as she went to the dorms and started not eating well, boom, it correlated with the up and down of these mast cell symptoms.
Yeah, yeah. And somebody's just saying, what about hormone disruptors? I'm thinking the answer probably is sure. Anything that's
Oh, yeah.
impacting your hormones is going to then impact the histamine
And
and
that's a huge part of our program, Susan, is really teaching people too, what are some hormone disruptors, what I call xenoestrogens. So yeah, in our environment, we're being bombarded with really high levels of fake hormones that our liver has to break down. And when you're exposed to that, not only do you have problems with your own hormones being imbalanced, you're taking in all the xenoestrogens, fake estrogens that your liver doesn't even know what the hell to do with, right? And then on top of it, half of you are constipated and can't even poop it out. Right. So then that is a histamine stew that's just increasing over and over again. Your liver can't break down those histamines.
Yep. And just saying, so it saw a huge difference when my blood sugar mastery improved.
Yeah, and Stacy has very severe anaphylactic allergic reactions, and Stacy herself has worked through. She's been working through digestion. She's been working through food mapping and hormone balancing and blood sugar. Like every single pillar we've talked about, Stacy has been living through that, and she has life-threatening allergic symptoms, anaphylaxis. So yeah, these are not easy cases we work with at all.
And how long can it take? I've heard people say this for blood sugar mastery. And this person, welcome, going to be starting the program next week. But I've heard by talking to alumni, once they do get the blood sugar mastered, and blood sugar is in week 2 of the program. I'm in week 2 right now, and we are learning about blood sugar. And once you do realize what are some of the keys and they teach you exactly how to implement this in your life, it can turn around very quickly, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I tell people that if you implement everything I tell you to within 48 hours, you'll see a dramatic turnaround in POTS, in hormones, in infection, and in mast cell. Literally within 48 hours, you could notice a difference. That's how dramatic blood sugar and powerful it can be to master balancing your blood sugar.
We're seeing so many comments come in again, and it's just reminding me once again this week that this is such a pervasive problem. So many people have issues with mast cell and with these POTS-like symptoms.
Well, look at this one. When I don't eat, it really hits bad, like so low blood sugar. And I literally feel like my head is vibrating and super anxious. Then my heart goes crazy, high and low. I can't walk around with my heart going crazy and blood pooling in my legs. This is classic like POTS symptoms that people don't even realize is related with the blood sugar. This user is finally connecting it with her blood sugar. That's really huge. That's a huge aha.
Glad that they're having these aha moments too, because so many people walk around wondering, why do I feel like this? What is wrong with me? I can't find help from.
And that's the thing, if you can turn around blood sugar in 48 hours, I mean, that's what people for me, like they struggle. I mean, you see these people struggle 20, 30, 40, 50 years with these symptoms. And then they look at why our clients have such dramatic results. It's kind of a no-brainer when you know exactly what's causing it. You learn how to solve that problem. You got the data to back it up, and you have results to prove for it within a really short time.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Look at this one.
Yeah, she said she's no longer itching. She's just now realizing this, which is so funny because you say that too. You say you may almost forget the problems that you had before because you're no longer experiencing them until somebody mentions something. And you say, oh, wait a minute, I'm not itching anymore.
All of you guys that are in the program right now, I tell you in week 1 to write down a list of some of these symptoms because I remember when Dana, we were interviewing her around week 10 at the end of the program. And she's like, until you told me to like look back and see what got better, I didn't realize my POTS symptoms went away in week 2. Week 2. And this young lady almost completely lost her career and her life as a result of how severe her POTS symptoms were. Week 2, her POTS symptoms were gone because blood sugar, damn it.
And people are just saying, wow, 48 hours. So sick of this. We can relate. Absolutely. Yeah. It was on a long list of issues and I forgot. That was back from Susan again.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what happens.
I think for the sake of time, Anne, we should probably talk about the role of stress and trauma.
Okay.
So
I don't think many people would relate to this, by the way.
They should.
Yeah.
They should. I'm going to ask you guys, all of you with allergy symptoms, have you noticed that they flared up during a time of stress? And have any of you noticed that during a time of physical trauma that your allergies are way worse? Write that down in chat. Tell me I'm not making this up because I don't think I'm like a medical savant. I just literally have dealt with thousands and thousands of people with this and I see patterns. So
you hit all 3 of the things that you've talked about so far. This person said, yeah, strike 3.
Okay. Thank you. Winner, chicken dinner right there. There is a huge role. What I will tell you right now is I will tell you the scientific mechanism for why this happens. Okay. So we're going to get into science. Do you know that just 20 minutes of being under stress, okay, will cause changes in your gut bacteria, measurable changes in your gut bacteria. And what happens is when the gut bacteria is disrupted, they're covering they live on a layer on your gut called the mucin layer. And then underneath that mucin layer, it's just 1 millimeter of mucin layer is your mucosa cells. So what they actually have found is that when there is a disruption of the bacteria in your gut, it disrupts the mucin layer, that 1 millimeter. And then what happens is that 20 minutes of stress will cause will start attacking sending signals to the cells in the mucosa level. Immediately when that happens, these mucosa cells will secrete a substance called IL6. And we know IL6 is a powerful mediator that will send signals throughout the entire body, including to your brain, that says inflammation. It will actually even turn some of these cells called macrophages from cleanup cells into destructive inflammation cells. So what happens is when you go into that mucus layer, boom, immediately IL-6 and other interleukins, cytokinins are ignited, and it causes inflammation factors to rise, but also histamine levels to rise. So 20 minutes of stress will cause disruption of your gut bacteria, the mucin layer, and your gut barrier, causing elevated levels of IL-6 and other interleukins and cytokinins, which will then subsequently cause an increase in histamines.
Here's what I'm hearing. You have all of the science to back this up and the experience of working with so many people, but yet you're the only doctor that I have ever come across that's able to put it together in this way. That's disappointing, I know, for so many people who have struggled for so long, because the science is out there. It's just that you've been able to, I guess, uncover it through your own struggle and your own research of.
Well, there's nothing like suffering yourself. I tell people that, you are the best teacher in your greatest area of struggle. Seriously. So I have had severe allergy issues. I mean, one episode landed me in the hospital, and that was an allergy to hemp protein powder. Landed me in the hospital and caused blisters all over my belly. Severe allergy issues. And I don't have that issue anymore. I don't. It's not like, oh, you got this and you're stuck with it for life. Hell no. These allergy symptoms, mast cell, histamine intolerance, absolutely can get better. But I will tell you that this is why mindset is a really important piece of our program. I think how your body responds to stress, how we contribute to our own stress, how we live in the stories of stress, and we relive the trauma and stories over and over again, we're creating a histamine storm in our body.
Makes sense.
So mindset is really huge. And that's also why supplementation, when it helps with balancing mental health and calming these cortisol spikes, these brain hormone abnormalities, things that decrease IL-6, like even in our pain protocol. In our pain protocol, we have SPM Max and we have ProMove, and those really help decrease inflammatory factors and even histamine from the gut level. But from a stress standpoint, I'm just going to do a quick screen share.
You have a whole Stress Essentials line.
There is Stress Essentials, and I can talk about the key products I take and I took, and I would recommend all the time. And we can share a link to Stress Essentials as well. For anybody who's dealing with anxiety, depression, mood boost, 2 at night, fantastic, right? But then the other thing that's really helpful is Promethyl X. Promethyl X, a lot of us has methylation problems. A lot of you have MTHR, FR. We have a special name for that in the medical field that I can't remember. The mother something gene, MTHFR, methylation problems. But we need methylation processes to be healthy, to make healthy brain neurotransmitters, but to also break down histamines. So Promethyl X really helps with methylation for people who are poor methylators. So taking one in the morning, one at night, super helpful with mood boost. And then a lot of people are really low in magnesium. Magnesium is a cofactor needed for all these different enzymatic processes in our body to break down histamines. So, thinking about 2 mood boosts at night, Promethyl X once in the morning, once at night, Promag X 2 in the evening. These are some really helpful things. And some people who have adrenal problems, we test adrenals in the program. If you have crazy ass high cortisol at night, your histamines are going crazy ass high at night. So Pro-Cortex 2 at night really helps the people who have really crazy ass high cortisol at night. It's one of the most powerful way to drop our cortisol at night, besides working on blood sugar and eating a healthy snack right before bed. So Pro-Cortex is like a must do.
I just want to point out too how generous you're being with your information and the knowledge that you're passing on. People that are watching right now that haven't joined the program, you may not realize that this is the kind of inside information that Dr. Maggie does give to people within the program as well. So if you're getting this right now, she's even giving specific recommendations for how many and at what time and things like that to take up the supplements. Invaluable. And Dr. Maggie, just on behalf of people who do need the help, thank you for sharing this.
Yeah. And my thing is, it is of no look, whether you decide to work with me or the Transform program or not, that's not really my main interest. My main interest really is this the type of education that you've never heard? Is this an aha? Is this going to be a game changer? Does it light a fire in you to do something different, learn something different, and get different results? That's my intention in doing these lives, is I hope that it lights a fire underneath your histamine ass.
I love it. She's coining that.
I should do a Transform MCAS naturally program, and the slogan would be, let's
light the fire
underneath your histamine ass.
She's got the lighter ready to go. And yeah, this person's saying all of this is a big aha. I remember 2 weeks ago when we did part 1 as well, it was like mind-blowing after mind-blowing piece of information. And because it's just things that people have struggled with for so long and yet have never had answers to, never even connected the dots. No doctor has, to be able to say, okay, well, this is causing some of your problems. And for some people, it's multiple things. It might be all of these things.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I would like to, everybody who's watching, this is going to, the comment section is going crazy. This is going to be another one for the history books, as the number of comments. I want every single one of you that are struggling with mast cell, or histamine, or, you even have allergy related type symptoms. I'm going to put a link right now to chat our team, because you need to do something different. Don't just sit here and do nothing with this information. The difference between someone who's successful and someone who's not is not a lack of information. It's a lack of massive action. Massive action. All of you sitting here that says, I want to get better, I'm so done with this shit, do something different then. And the first massive action that you can do is, obviously commenting here. And I love that. But also check your message requests on Facebook to see if our team has already messaged you, or check it a couple hours from now. I bet you a member of our team has messaged you. But if not, you know what? Take the initiative and message our team, send a message to us, tell us about what's going on with you. Because here's the thing is, I end this shit for breakfast every single day. I end this shit for breakfast every single day. Why are people choosing to suffer? Like, suffering is optional. And I don't understand why, and it's so interesting. And when we do interviews, we say, why did you almost not join the program? Right. And somebody's like, I don't believe it's real because it's on the internet. Like, that's a common one.
We hear that a lot. We do. And then at the end, they're like, but I'm so glad I took those steps, because now my life is done a 180.
Well, the thing is, I don't believe everything you see on the internet, but do believe real people and the real results. We literally have over 200, we're getting towards 300 testimonial videos of clients we've worked with real problems, probably worse than yours, that got better, and they share how they got better. So I'd love all the alumni in here that have been commenting on their results. People like, I'm ready to chat. Thank you. Take massive action.
Yeah.
Massive action, everybody.
Do you want to talk quickly about the role of water?
Okay, this is bonus, people. All right, serious bonus, because you guys are killing me in chat with comments, and I love it. Okay, the more you talk, the more I give. All right. So, and people in our program, I want you guys to tell just how impactful the adequate amount of water you drink has changed your autoimmunity. Type in chat all the alumni, teachers that I have in the audience right now. We run the 10-day water challenge in our program, in our Facebook group twice a year. If you want to join it, make sure you join our Facebook group, and we'll keep your eye out for it. We run it twice a year. In our Transform program, we do it the first 10 days of the program. Everybody, are you in the wait, Anne, are you in the 10-day water challenge?
I'm still in it, and you're reminding me I need to I need to get my water in so I can.
Anne's in the program right now. This is her first 10 days. So the reason that water is so powerful in mast cell activation is two major mechanisms. There's hundreds, but one mechanism is water's dilution. Water's dilution. So the concentration of amount of histamines and allergens in your body is equal to the reaction that the results that you experience. The bad juju you experience is directly related to the concentration of allergens you eat and the amount of histamine your body makes.
Okay, let's just talk about what a simple concept that is. But when you told me this the other day, as we were talking about this show, it was still like, whoa, how come I never thought about that? Water equals dilution. You're diluting away the histamines.
And every chemical reaction, the concentration of each reactant is what really matters, right? And so water's dilution. But think about it. When you eat and you drink, you chew your food and you drink water with it, number one, you're ready. The water itself is breaking the food into smaller parts, which helps in digestion, which we already talked about. But the other thing is, the digestion breaks down the amount of allergens in that food that will present later, right? That's great, right? But the other thing is, water will dilute the amount of allergens. Okay? Think about that. Water will dilute the think about it. You eat one concentrated nugget of allergen. You don't drink water with it. You just eat it. You'll have 1,000 times the histamine reaction. You dilute that by drinking 8 ounces of water with it, 16 ounces with it. You just decreased and diluted that allergen load by like 20, 30 fold. You decrease the allergy reaction by 20, 30 fold.
The comments about water are going off right now. They are popping off. I mean, you're really hitting a nerve with people and saying, yeah, I mean, how much water has made a big difference. They can tell some of the alumni and their symptoms.
Yeah. And I can tell you right now is that, I just went through some urgent surgery last week, and I am very allergic to adhesive. I'm allergic to like the iodine they put on my skin, right? So I was itching like crazy underneath the cast that they had put on my leg. Yes, I have a cast on right now. And, and the mere fact of just, and the mere fact of drinking water, I drank the amount of water that's adequate for someone with autoimmune disease. It decreases my allergy symptoms, my itching, like in half, right? It decreased my itching like in half the first 24 hours. By 48 hours, my itching was gone. Whereas if I hadn't done that, which has happened in the past, I'd be itching for a week.
But you were able to dilute it and get it out of your system.
Well, because I can't get rid of the iodine or adhesive that's underneath my cast, right? So it was there. So it's like, it's not like I can just go in there and just clean that up underneath the cast, right? So it's like, water dilution really is great. The other thing is, water molecule is required for the biochemical reaction to break histamine down to its breakdown products.
You need water. You have to get
water. So that's the thing is that your liver doesn't just take histamine and said, I'm going to break you down. It says, I need to take that histamine molecule and a molecule of H2O, the water, and this other enzyme, and I'm going to break down that histamine. You're missing one of the reactants in that biochemical reaction. You're missing that water molecule. It just says, I'm not going to break down the histamine molecule. Do you guys understand that? So water hydration is really important. And in our program, we actually really go through how to calculate the exact adequate amount of water to drink.
And that's what this person is just asking, what is the amount? And it's so personalized. That's the thing about this whole program is it's personalized based on
personalized to each person. Yeah, we calculate it. So so I would say if all of you guys are interested in water, like make sure you join our Facebook group. If you haven't joined it, we'll put a link to join our Facebook group in the chat. And keep your eye open for our next 10-day water challenge so you can get all the trainings around water, because we spent a whole 10 days to do our water challenge, and I spent hours providing medical training to people on all these topics around water. Water is free.
It's free. And another really just truly enlightening topic around mast cell activation and histamine intolerance. And you guys, you would never know it, but Dr. Maggie, like she mentioned, she had a tough week this week. She had surgery and experienced some complications. I hope you don't mind me saying that. It was a really hard week, but yet you're still here with, it seems like all of your energy and love that you're pouring out to try to help people that are dealing with these issues.
So I actually missed it, Anne. I mean, I'll tell you, like I've been bedridden for the whole past week and I cannot bear weight because I broke my foot. And I literally had to be in bed for the last 4 or 5 days. This morning, I went to my ortho to have my permanent cast put on. That was the first time I even left my bed and got out of the house, literally. So it felt so good. And part of coming back to being like a teacher, like this,
it gives you a little life.
It really does. I mean, I love to teach and I love to share. And I'm really glad to see all these comments of not only alumni who got better, but people who are doing poorly right now, who are getting some serious ahas. That makes it all worth it.
Well, even through it all, I know that they're so appreciative that through it all, you were able to still come and be so generous with your knowledge and your time, Dr. Maggie. So you're getting a lot of love in the comments. Everybody just wishing that you have a speedy recovery and thanking you for continuing to help others.
Well, guys, I took massive action to be here today. Let's have you guys take massive action. And if you have any questions, message and chat our team. And also check your Facebook Messenger request later tonight. I'm sure our team would have messaged you. So do something different.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night.